Riparile. Good evening, everybody. Abushel, if you can hear this, right? Another time for the IG Life. Let us make in the Hiza. Today I'm waiting for my sister from Eswatini, Lindiwe. She'll be joining me shortly, and then we'll go for it. We're talking systems thinking. It's gonna be it's gonna be exciting. So keep it locked. In a few minutes we'll kick off. Hey Lindy, you need to send me a request to join in. Ne? So come through and then send me a request, and then we can do this. If you believe it, come on if you believe it. If that's what you know, if that's what you know. All right, I see your wave. You just now need to send me a request. Oh, there we go. There we go. We need a countdown.
Hi.
Hey, Lindy. Good evening. I'm all good, man. How you doing?
I'm good. Can't complain. All good.
How's the East Eswatini?
Great. Eswatini
Yeah?
is great. Yeah. Oh, actually, yeah. On the flip side, yeah. Let me say it's great. Let me not get into the politics of it, but yeah.
I know, politics are always there, so it's not even worth talking about.
Absolutely.
Awesome. I see already having guys coming through. Hi, Amy. Thanks for coming through. John.
Yes.
Welcome,
I
guys.
can see my own. Yeah. Hi, all. They know themselves.
Awesome. No, Sinamgela, guys, thanks for coming through, and we do appreciate you joining us. On that note, since we do have guests, if you do have comments, please, by all means, guys, go crazy on the comments field. And questions, there's a question mark there on the chat, so you can put it through. Hello, boy, Siabong. Awesome. So let's get into it, if you do not mind, Lens. So now, maybe I should first start by introducing myself, and then talk about really what this is all about, right? So my name is Nhlanhla Mokari. Those who actually know me in these streets just refer to me as Let Us Make, but actually my name is Nhlanhla. So what this channel is about, guys, and this conversation, it's a series of conversations that we're having with sisters and brothers across the continent and in the diaspora as well. Just conversation, to talk about stuff that we care about. But of course, it's really around from personal development to our own views, and really creating, or at least sharing, what we are seeing and learning as we go along. So that's really simply what it's about. And that looks like a conversation like this, and many other forms that it may take. So long story short, follow the channel for you to get more info around it. But tonight specifically, okay. I'm so excited. Sorry, Linz, you wanted to say something?
Hi. I am not sure whether it's the connection from my end, but you seem to be breaking.
Oh, okay,
sure
okay.
Everybody can hear.
Yeah, it looks fine from my end, so I'm hoping that I can, that I'm fine. Guys, are you hearing me fine? Let's see it on the comments if you are. And Nolindi, where can you hear as well?
Yeah, so I can check on my side if I need to change something there.
Yeah, but I can actually hear you. I mean, no issues whatsoever. All right, so maybe let's go along, and then of course, as we go along, it is live, and you know, whatever challenges we face, will I'm sure we'll overcome them. So, so that's the introduction, guys. Specifically, we're talking systems thinking today. Okay, cool. Now, Kogena in Bendulo. Bui says he can hear me on Zoom, so we should be good.
Okay. Give me 2 minutes. Let me change my connection here.
Okay, no stress, no stress. Whilst Lindy does that, guys, so how we then capture it is through the 3 words, let us make. It might be familiar to some of us, but it's really just about saying the inherent potential within us, let us bring it out. Let's do it as a team, hence the us. And make is really just action, right? At the end of the day, it will require action beyond just talking about things, but we need to actually do something about it. So yeah, let us make. It's that creative force that is within all of us. Okay, cool. So Lindy will send me a connection request shortly, and then we will jump into it. There we go. Kudu Siyabonga, thanks for confirming the connection there, so we can fix it quickly. All right. Keep the interaction going, guys. I appreciate interacting, you know, on these streets as well. Oh, by the way, if you can hear it, I'm playing a song in the background by one of the sisters from Eswatini. I was actually talking to Lindy about it in the week, and it's apparently something we share as far as that song is concerned and the genre it's in. Londolozi, that's the name of the song, so look it up. All right, cool. So we'll give it a minute or so, and then we'll go. In the meantime, if there's comments and questions, systems thinking, guys, is the topic. So what do you think? What's your understanding of systems thinking? I would love to see the comments if they can come through, because that will then, you know, make it that much richer. Yeah, richer the topic and what we're talking about. So what's your idea of systems thinking? What's your understanding? There are no wrong answers, so go for it. Tell me what you think. Lazy. Is it not interesting, guys, how we the names or the handles that come up on the Insta? I'm just looking at some of them coming through here. Hey, Dlamini, Skumbuzo, welcome, Kosi, welcome. I'm in SA, guys, so I'm told, I'm understanding Dlamini Nongosi, the same thing, and it's all related to reality. True or false? So I'm happy to be corrected as far as that is concerned. Knox, welcome. Thanks for joining, and yeah, for coming through, Siabong. Lindy is having technical issues on her end. There we go. She just sent me a request. Thanks, Linz. There we go. Let's try this again. What's up, El? Namibia in the house. I think we're going to do a certain convention now. Welcome. Thanks for joining us, El.
Yes, apologies for that.
Awesome. It happens, Linz. No issues. We can hear you loud and clear. So maybe let's jump into it.
I can also hear you now.
Awesome. So if I can ask you to quickly introduce yourself, your background, and then we'll get right into it then.
All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Lindiwe Dlamini. I am a Eswati, if you may put it like that. Yes. Basically, I am in the technology space. I love technology. Actually, technology chose me. I always say that.
Okay.
But deep in my heart, I know that I am an economist. I've got so much love for economics.
Okay.
It's a pity. Yeah, I've kind of pushed it on the side, but I am working on, putting my eggs there in order, my ducks in order there. Yeah. So yeah, that's basically it. Yes.
Awesome, cool. I think it's a good mix, eh? Technology and economics.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, my background is mainly in communications. So there's this new phenomenon around behavioral economics. So basically, it's a match of psychology and economics. So hey, we cannot do without economics.
Never. Can't do it. Yeah. Yes.
Awesome. Cool. Siyabonga Lens, thanks for that intro. Uskumbuzo, I was just asking him about the Sedem Dlamini, how is it related to Nkosi and whether or not it's royalty. And he says he's not sure. So what do you think?
I'm also not sure. You never know.
Hey.
You never know.
Yeah. I think, every African person I talk to, they somehow are related to royalty somehow. Everyone has a lineage that connects somehow to royalty. So I guess at the end of the day, we are kings and we should embrace that in some way or another. Okay, cool. Let's talk systems thinking, Liz. So this is a topic that I know is close to your heart and something that you are unpeeling. And I should say, guys, I'm no expert, and I don't think Lindy would claim to be one as well. We just two kins who have an interest in talking about topics that matter to us. So by all means, let's talk about it as we do together. Siyabonga Marvin, welcome. Okay, so systems thinking, Lens. Quickly, then, if I can ask you to introduce it in terms of what is your understanding? What does it originate from? Where did it all start? What does that mean? What is systems thinking?
Okay. I would say let me first start by trying to bring forth how from my perspective, systems thinking came about. I think it was based on, I would say, the failures that were noted from mechanistic thinking. And by mechanistic thinking, I am basically referring to looking at systems or things in parts. Where you find that we oftentimes focus on the one part of things, and whereas there is a holistic view of it. So systems thinking is basically saying, look at the bigger picture. It's a different part, but they are interrelated. And with that interrelation, it makes, the entire system. So you just need to look at it from the bigger picture, if I may put it like that. Holistic view, and yet mechanistic system or thinking is basically looking at the different components. Exactly. Yeah. So system, all the parts put together, making up the whole. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So and I'm glad we're gonna go deeper into that, right? And look at maybe practical examples, because that's in its own, the very definition, it sounds a bit complex, at least to me. But I think you've simplified it when you say it. It's the inverse of looking at one part of a problem or a situation. Systems, you look at the entire value chain. Maybe that's the word that makes sense to me, or value stream, depending on your background. Okay, so maybe if we can get into that, a situation or a scenario, an example maybe that can explain this even better. Do you is there any practical solution or scenario you can give us as an example?
Okay. So if you look at it as I'll just make a typical example of our day-to-day activities or our day-to-day lives, or even in an organization where you look at a specific component, you know, you're trying to address it. I would say a typical example that everybody will probably relate to is, you know, if you look at an individual wanting to buy a car, you know, we always look for a car, we always, you know, and oftentimes the first thing that comes to mind is, oh, okay, I can afford this installment, you know, I can pay it up. But coming to think of it, and that's just one part of it, you know, when you're looking at it from a different perspective now, which is systems thinking also, you know, brings forward to say there's more than one perspective to the particular issue or whatever that you're looking at. So if I want to buy this car, yes, I can pay the monthly fee, that's true, but will I have enough for petrol? So now that's a different view to say, okay, I've got this item with me now, but in terms of running, operating this machine that I've brought home, will I still be able to do it? So initially you had look at affordability of the installment. Now you need to look at how do you operationalize the entire aspect of it to say, okay, if this happens, will I still be able to maintain, you know, the vehicle going forward? So basically, in a nutshell, and in one of the simplest forms, that is how systems thinking is all about, to say, here is a car. Yes, I can afford. If I look at my monthly balance, I can afford to pay the installment. But there's also insurance to it. Will I be able to afford the insurance to that particular car? Be able to have enough petrol to run my errands? Or do I need a smaller car, you know, that can accommodate all those different components that might own a car? So yeah, that's one aspect, yeah. And then you can also flip it.
No.
All I am saying is the bigger picture. What's the bigger picture saying, you know?
Yeah. No, I'm pulling your leg up, but yeah. Oh, your connection there, it's a bit. There we go. Yeah, you are back now. So do you want to take it from the top? Since my Verpa comment, what did you say?
Come again.
We lost you there for a second. So do you want to just recap what you just said?
Okay, basically I was saying it's basically putting a different lens now, because there's different perspectives to a particular thing. So that is what systems thinking is all about. And it basically says you need to have an open mind, if I may put it like that. I'm just reminded of one quote by Sir Godfrey Vickers. He mentions the fact that we are trapped not by the external reality, but by our own thinking. So you can already tell that sometimes, because we only think of one part and not the entire system or the different perspectives to the situation or whatever the case may be. That is how we then get to trap our thinking, you know.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, so I really connect with the example that you just gave us, and of course when you envelope it or package it in that code. I mean, so basically a car, it's not just an installment. The reality is the installment, the insurance, the petrol, and many other expenses, because the value decreases the moment you take it off the garage. So you need to balance the perspective and look at the bigger picture, or the entire picture rather. So would you say then, because I'm thinking of this now, that ostrich phenomenon, which sometimes we ignore what's happening around us and we put our head in the sand, not wanting to face reality. So would you say then thinking in any other way that is not systemized or system thinking would be an equivalent of that, of ignoring reality, basically, to our detriment? Would that be a correct statement?
Okay. So what I would say, or my comments to that, Nhlanhla, is that, when you look at systems thinking, think of, I would say, think of yourself standing at a balcony, if I may put it
Okay.
like that. So you have
Okay.
a balcony, you've got, you know, that elevated view there. And then you've got the stairs, you know, leading up to the balcony, and there's just a lot of activity happening on the ground. So now mechanistic thinking speaks to the different parts, which is the staircases that are on the ground, you know, everything else that is. So what I mentioned to be one of the drivers to get to systems thinking is that we are too much focused on the granular items on the ground, which is the detail, the different parts, right? So now systems thinking comes to actually bridge the gap between what you see from that balcony or elevated view to what is on the ground. So you do need to do the activities or the goals that are on the ground in order to get to the picture. And that is how systems thinking comes about, to say, okay, you've got that view there, an elevated one. How do you then what do you need to do in order to get to that particular point? And given the fact that you also have other views from where you are in terms of being on the ground floor. So it's the different perspective or the different lenses that you need to bridge together. So it's not one, but it's both working together. It's just that I think we had previously then been ignoring the other component, to say, I'm trying to look at this and I'm going to work on it, complete everything on it, without taking into consideration that each and every part in a system is interrelated. So there is a connection. And when you try to actually address it, you might find yourself having to impact the other related system in a negative way, you know. So it is quite important to make sure that even when you're doing your decisions, to say, if I take this decision, what are the implications that will affect the next related part or component to it?
Damn, so even the decisions then become that much more richer because they are considerate of the effect of whatever course we take. Okay.
Absolutely.
Beautiful, thank you. I do want to just take a brief pause and acknowledge the guys that have joined us. Ustabile, I think Nombuso just joined us as well. Welcome, guys. There was Undudu, if I remember correctly, Ndile, Phil. I can't mention everyone, but thanks for coming through. What I did say to the guys that were with us from the beginning is that if there's questions, or even comments for that matter, because this is a conversation that we're having, all of us, and not just necessarily between me and Lindy. By all means, do post the comments and give us your views as well. We're talking systems thinking. I'm sure you figured that much so far. So yeah, we're open for that kind of approach. Linz, I was going to ask you about the benefits, right, of systems thinking. And you started almost touching on some of them. I mean, I've been writing here frantically. I don't know if you're seeing as you talk, but you mentioned the fact that systems thinking balances the different perspectives or views that you need to have. You know, I was of the mind that it's really that elevated view, going back to your example, that would be systems thinking, but you've now bridged the gap to say, actually, it's not only that, but also the ground view and any other perspective that is important. So what other benefits, maybe if there is any more that you may want to share with us of and around systems thinking?
Okay. I think I've already mentioned the fact that it helps in terms of decision making the right decisions, and often at the right time, because now you have anticipated any change or whatever the case may be. And I think the other one is, you know, when you when you use systems thinking, one of the benefits is that you then get to address some or try to eliminate some of those unforeseen or unintended consequences, because sometimes you find that you are trying to fix a certain element of something, and yet you are breaking the neck. I think just a typical example that comes to mind is in an organization, if you feel that probably you are now under pressure in terms of your project delivery, you know, you've got your timelines and the likes. one of the things that would probably come to mind to management is, you know what, because we are not meeting deadline, let's add our workforce, let's add more people, you know, to start working on this. You see that you're already focused on one piece, but now systems thinking says, look at it from a bigger picture or from a different perspective. If we bring in people, what is going to happen to our cost? You know, if we bring in people, won't that delay us because now we still need to train those people? How long will it take us to, you know, to get the people up to speed in order to get to that, to those timelines that you have worked on? And
nice.
if you, yeah, you see, if you bring in people, you know, there's just so much view or perspective that comes to play when you think systems thinking, because now you're saying, let me have this rich picture in my head. And by rich picture is basically you pointing it down to say, what are the areas that I might have missed in this whatever idea that I'm trying to address or challenge that I'm trying to address. And in that big picture, you are also able to see, you know what are the opportunities, what are the threats to those opportunities. And again, within your opportunities, there will be threats, and within your threats, there will be opportunities to say, if you've proactively identified it as a potential threat, what can we do about it now by ensuring that all the related part or the interrelated parts come to play. Remember, it's not just one part, but it's a holistic. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. No. Thanks for that. So now let's talk application, right? So we've covered some examples, definition, very much detail, and I think we are on the same page then around the concept. Application. So how does Unhlanhla noma uNombuso, sorry Nombuso, because you're the last one I see that joined. How do we then adopt and implement systems thinking tomorrow, for instance, in the next situation that we do face? What is the practical next steps? What are the practical next steps?
I think one of the things that stands out for me when it comes to systems thinking is firstly to understand the systems, right? Systems being components that are interrelated. You know, those are the interrelated components that makes up the system. Yeah. One thing that we often make is we try to fix a system, and yet if you try to fix a system, you will end up, you know, with those unforeseen consequences. So what you'd rather do is you try to improve a system. So you work on the components in improving the systems. And one thing that comes to mind is, you know, there are certain questions that you need to ask yourself when you want to apply systems thinking. First and foremost, you need to understand the context or the environment that you are working within, or whatever that you're trying to work on. And secondly, what are the influences to those behaviors? So it's just a couple of questions that you need to ask yourself in order to get and then apply, because it's not a one word I'd say answer to it.
All right, cool. I see you are reading with me. Interesting insights. So thanks for commenting there. Nosabelo here is Kumbuzo. He's giving us one example. He says strategy design. It's a question actually. Can you draw systems thinking in strategy design? So maybe if we can address that one. Thanks.
Definitely. And yes, Kumbuzo, you can. And I think from my view, how systems thinking happens, or it's more of a journey, if I may put it like that. It's more of a journey now, because you are looking at every component. Remember, with strategy, I would say the intended strategy where you just, you know, plan things to say this is where we want to get to. And then there's also those unforeseen circumstances. Just a typical example. COVID came about, an example of a bakery shop, you know. People used to order cakes. People would come order cakes for birthday parties and the like. So now your strategy was to sell 100 cakes, for example, 100 cakes by, oh yeah, his other name is Sabir. Is to sell 100 cakes by this time around, right? And then COVID happened. What does it mean? It means that now you need to re-strategize, right? Because you've got to drop some certain elements. No more 100 parties or whatever the case may be. Now you're thinking online, what can we do with online bakery or whatever the case may be? So it's no longer now the shopping. So with strategy, you get to use systems thinking by saying, with this, if this one particular aspect doesn't work in terms of our strategy, what are the different components that will be impacted by it, and how can we then find a way to improve or work on it? So it's more of a, I'd say, an ongoing journey using systems. Yeah.
Awesome, cool. So that initial assessment of analyzing what systems are involved or interrelated parts, it's an ongoing thing. So as other things come in, like COVID, that's a good example, then you go back to the drawing board and recalculate that and be nimble enough to adapt to the new reality or the additional systems in place. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's ongoing in that sense. Amazing. All right, cool. I hope that helps you, School, aka Sabelo. Sarah, thanks for joining us. We're talking systems thinking today. I'm sure you can see on the chat in terms of the questions and comments coming through. Okay, so is there anything else? We're towards the end now of our conversation. I know time flies. The idea really is not to exhaust any topic, but rather to get the conversation started so that we can continue it in our own different spaces or even on the charts after we actually post. So anything else around systems thinking that you feel it's important and we have to cover in this life balance? I don't want to limit you to my questions.
I think we've covered basically everything. But what I would say for me is this is something that I am somehow passionate about. Let's get on to it. Everybody here on the call. Let's read about systems thinking. Let's apply it. Trust me. I think if you read articles, I think there's quite a lot on systems thinking from those search engines there. If you look at some of the articles that have been shared, organizations that apply systems thinking are actually doing better than those that are not. So yeah, I'd say systems thinking is the future from my take.
It really is because it sort of it protects you, and it helps you keep moving in your business. I like the example you made about a bakery or confectionery type business, because it's practical. You constantly have to assess what is the reality and what are the connected points that I need to consider. So, definitely, I heard you loud and clear. Thanks for sharing in that sense. Hey?
I'm saying so go and buy your Vrupa then.
Yeah, no, I have to do that. I have to calculate now. I want insurance and everything else, the other connected parts. But by the way, for a American like myself, that also includes my wife. I have to.
Yes.
Yeah, that's part of the systems or system that I must consider. So yeah, no, I heard you loud. All right, cool. So you mentioned articles, right? Is there any specific article, book, anything that you can recommend, even if it's just one, around this topic?
I will put it on the chat.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, if you can, if you can, that would be great. I know, Mina, I like the Harvard Business Reviews or the articles from HBR because they are exhausting all topics around business and personal development and those kind of issues. things, rather, I should say. So definitely that will be my first stop. Harvard Business Review, check it out around systems thinking. But also, man, I think we have local talent in terms of our own universities and business schools that actually do cover some of these topics, and I would imagine systems thinking is in there as well. So what you send, if you can send it through to me, I will also put it then as part of the chat or the saving of this conversation. Yeah, just so that we have resources to refer to.
Yeah, okay, I will do that.
Awesome, cool. Masfalage with the comments. I see Sabelo. I got it right now, Sabelo. He says, awesome conversation. I hope I won't miss the next one. Definitely, Dlamini. If you can follow Let Us Make, we try and post when we are having them. But essentially, it's usually on Saturday evenings because we believe you have to start or rather end your week right, depending on how you look at it. And yeah, so follow the channel and then you'll get more of these kind of conversations. You should ask Usara. I see she says she was late and she missed out. But you will catch the recording, Sarah. We do always appreciate you coming through. What I'll do is I'll post it on my live, and then Lindy you might do the same as well. I'm not sure. I don't want to speak for you, Linz. So yeah, that's really it. Final words or last bite, Linz, as we close and conclude.
Thank you for your time, and thank you to everybody who joined through. I'd say systems thinking is a great conversation to have. I'm actually surprised that time just went by, you know. Right. You know, when we're having the chat line, I think we spoke and I had so many examples, you know, just to share, you know. And when you spoke of 30 minutes to 45, I was like, oh, that's a long time, you know. But look at how time just flew by. Yeah, so I'd say thank you for the opportunity. Hopefully we'll expand more on the topic or even a different one going forward.
Definitely. This is our movement, so we'll keep it locked. So that's a commitment then to come back to this platform, Linz, in the near future for part 2, right? I think I lost connection there. I was saying, Guti, that is a premise for you to come back for part 2, right?
Definitely.
Awesome. That's it, guys. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I will post it on my live, so definitely you can review it and let's comment and talk about it even further on that platform. And yeah, follow Let Us Make, follow Lynn's bands. Interesting handle there. But anyway, follow her and let us make. Let us keep the conversation going. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and enjoy the rest of the evening and weekend.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.